What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports, the podcast where we talk sports and other girly things. I am Sam Cardona, and thank you guys so much for listening today. Normally this is not my usual setup. However, my camera died, and I am too impatient to wait for it to charge. So here we are recording on Zoom. However, the rest of the episode will be on a Zoom. We have a guest this week. We brought on Stephie Smalls. If you guys don't know her, she is from Twitter, the one and only. She does a lot of different things, which she will explain when we get to her interview. She's a delight. I love having Stephie on. This is her second time on the show now. She's a great friend, and I love her. So we get into NFL Week 9 this week with a few predictions for NFL Week 10 for next week. So I'm very excited to get into this week's episode. However, before we do that, we must do our plugs. So guys, don't forget to subscribe on all podcasting platforms. Wherever it is that you get your podcast from, make sure to subscribe to The Girl Who Talks Sports. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have gained a few new subscribers. We are getting closer and closer to getting our 200 subscriber goal. So please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube right now, give us a little bit of a thumbs up. That'll be very helpful for me. And in terms of social media, guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TGWTS Podcast. Super fun times on there. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Girl Who Talks Sports. I have recently put out a very funny TikTok, which I'm very proud of, and it has gotten a bit of traction, and I'm very excited about it. So make sure you head over to The Girl Who Talks Sports on TikTok and check out some of the content on there. It's very, very fun. And of course, before we get into the interview with Stephie, once again, I just want to talk to you guys really quick about Team Clicks. If you missed it last week, Team Clicks is a sunglasses brand that I am an affiliate for now, and it is a way to rep your team in style. So if you guys are watching on the YouTube channel right now, you can see the sunglasses I'm holding in my hand are the New York Giants inspired sunglasses, and they're blue with a white and red stripe on the side. They fit my face very well. I very much like them. However, if you would like to rep more than one team, what's really great about Team Clicks is that the arm of the sunglasses can be removed like so. Again, if you're watching, they come off very easily, and I have the Buffalo Bills inspired arms as well, and they just click right on, and you can change the arms of your sunglasses. The holidays are here. I've started Christmas shopping, so if you're looking for a fun, unique gift for the sports lover in your life, Team Clicks is the best way to do it. You can click the link in the description of the podcast or the video. You can go to my link tree. The website is teamclicks.com/TGWTS. That's clicks with CLIX. And if you just happen to come across the website at teamclicks.com, you can use my code TGWTS at checkout. It'll be helpful for me. It'll be helpful for the show. Again, I love that you all support me so much, so I appreciate it very, very much. But without further ado, let's get into our interview with Miss Stephie Smalls. All right, everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to get into this week's episode with my friend, Stephie Smalls. I'm so excited that you're here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Finally, we get to link up again and do a show together. It's been a minute.
Yes.
Last time, I think, I don't know which horrible game it was for our Giants that we previewed together, but I'm so happy that we get to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really excited that we get to recap a Giants win this week, which is very exciting.
Right. It's very rare too, right?
Right. Which is like, it worked out very well that we were able to do this. But before we get into NFL Week 9 and everything, tell me about what you're up to. What are you doing lately?
Yeah. So I'm with Champions Round. We're an app, kind of like DFS, do a couple of different types of games, micro fantasy, splitting it into a couple of weeks. And I'm on the content side. So I'm one of their content creators and analysts over there. And yeah, I'm just rocking out, do my thing. Very happy over there. It's a very cool app for everyone that hasn't checked it out yet.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm very excited to get into this because, well, actually, this is my first year doing fantasy football as well. So I'm excited to kind of talk to you about that a little bit.
Love it.
Hopefully I win this week. I'm still, there's somebody still playing on the other team tonight. So, but I'm 20 points ahead. I feel like.
Okay. Might feel good. Should be a low scoring game. Hopefully things, no one gets too much volume.
Hopefully. But let's talk about the Giants. Let's just jump right into it and get into this Giants win. For some reason, I had this prediction that the Giants were going to win this game. If it was going to be any game, it would have been this one. I'm very excited that it was against a team that people have been hyping up for so long, but kind of like, what were your key takeaways for this game? Do you think that this was the Raiders just weren't on their game? Do you think the Giants actually pulled out this win for us? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I tried to. I was very, it wasn't one of those wins that you want to be excited about a win. You don't always get super excited. We kind of get let down. And it felt like it was trending in the direction. I did take the +3, so I was pretty confident in the Giants at least to cover. And there's some good takeaways, though. So I thought about it today, and it's like I can calm down because we have McKinney, who was a steal. We got him in the second round. He was a game changer. I think he should have gotten the game ball. But again, then you have Booker, right? I think Booker adds an interesting layer to this because we should not ever be drafting a running back in the first round because, unfortunately, we seem to have this similar experience every year because look what happened with Freeman Gallman last year. Right. I'm a little worried about how much volume they're giving him because I don't want to use and abuse him and him to get hurt. And then, Gary Braywell I guess he was out for COVID. So we need to be careful, but he is a very decisive, aggressive runner. He's awesome. He has played fantastic. 122 all-purpose yards. That's my little takeaways. I don't have anything. And also Penny, right? This fullback out of nowhere looks fantastic. He came in an 11-yard and 12-yard run. Looked great. Ingram, you could say, fine. He has played well, knock on wood. I can't argue with that. Other than Quincy Roche, another one, Pitt is probably kicking themselves. 6th-round pick for them that has been fantastic. 50 snaps, back-to-back games for us. So I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. There's also things to not be as excited about either.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we did really well on defense here. I think our defense has really stepped up and has been really great for us, despite the losses that we've had this year. And on the other side of the ball, offensive, we could do better. There's definitely things that we could do better. But in terms of this game, coming off a win, next week's our bye week. Do you feel like we're going to keep this momentum going? Do you feel, we're going to be versing Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, which we almost beat him last year. But what are you feeling like after this bye week? Are we going to keep this momentum?
Yeah, it's interesting because I said going into this year that I felt we would win the Chiefs game or the Tampa game. So that leaves us with the Tampa game. So is it possible? Yeah, I think it's really maybe a blessing in disguise that Saquon had this false positive for COVID. I think I wanted him to have that bye week to come back full force. I'm just really hoping that we can start getting some receivers involved. I think that Tampa is banged up enough in a scene. This is the thing with the Giants too. And this is what drives me. We are one of those teams that could beat any team because that's how we are. So we've always been like that. There's no really consistency or rhyme or reason to why we win in there. So they could absolutely. We all know that was a horrific game last year. Daniel Jones, probably one of his worst performances on the season. Pretty brutal. I don't know why we got so many primetime games this year, but we did. And again, I'm done getting my hopes up. But again, do they turn the corner? They could.
Right. Definitely. I feel like going into this game, especially after a bye with a win, you're hyped up and you're excited. And I feel like there is a chance. But in terms of the division itself, yes, the Cowboys did just lose, but also like they are way ahead of this entire division. Like, I don't think we can catch up to the Cowboys at this point. I really don't.
Right. So it's we kind of place ourselves in this position every year where we're kind of, we'll see. I mean, at this point, we're at the wild card scenario. I don't know that that's in our future with the way that things have been. Is it a possibility? Yeah. I mean, we watched how the Giants have won Super Bowl, make a wild card push, but the Cowboys have this thing they have a pretty strong grip here. They have outperformed everyone in the division, even Washington, who they thought was the front runner at one point, who is now last in our division. So I think that the Giants, and I don't know what I want. It's so hard as a fan too. Like, do you want that draft? Like, I don't really care about the draft position as much as I want to see them actually play like 4 quarters of complimentary, very good football. Like, can we just do that? I don't care if we lose, but it's like the mistakes and the lack of discipline. That's what's starting to get frustrating with this team.
Yeah. And I hate when people are like, well, it's time to start tanking. And you're like, no. Maybe we should like win a game. Like, maybe we should like actually just like stop tanking for a draft pick when obviously it hasn't worked for us in the past. So it's very frustrating. And in terms of the running back situation with Saquon, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I hate to say we don't need him because I really love Saquon, but I don't know if we really need him. Like you said, like Booker's doing just fine. And yes, he can come back and ball out, but he's been injured so many times at this point. Like, what do we expect from him? And then we have to pay him money. Like, I'm very, very conflicted about this whole situation.
Yeah, I am too. And everyone knows I'm a huge Saquon fan. I've been a fan of Saquon since Penn State. He's the reason that I got back into college football after I was at U of A and we stopped being even anything that's even watchable. So Saquon got me back into college football. I love Saquon with my entire heart, but it's hard to say after watching the past 2 years, how do we go and pay him? I think it's going to depend a lot on what happens in the front office, but there's definitely going to be some decisions to be made with him regarding moving forward. But again, like we still, if we're not going to have any kind of passing game, we still also like sort of need to pass up on Saquon, who ends up on another team and balls out. I don't know. I wish what they did was involve Booker a little bit more while Saquon is there to keep him healthy. But that seems to not be, it's a Jason Garrett's very one or the other type minded human being.
Jason Garrett, my God, I don't even think we have time to go over Jason Garrett.
No, we don't.
We don't. It would take hours and hours. But talking about the NFC East, we mentioned the Cowboys earlier, and there was several upsets this week between the Cowboys losing, the Bills, which blew me away that the Jaguars were able to win. Even the Rams on Sunday Night Football. I mean, we could start with the Cowboys. What did you think? I mean, I thought they were going to get shut out for like a hot second. Like, what in the world happened here? Was it because Dak wasn't like 100%, or like, what do you think happened there?
It's interesting. And I follow some Cowboys content creators and kind of watching their emotions going through this too is, this is the Broncos. I don't know how much I believe in like all these odd stats and whatever. Some of the stuff it's a little much, but this is their 7th win against Dallas when they match up against them. It comes down to the Cowboys did not play well. Dak did not play well, and he's played fantastic. He had his 2nd worst career performance since he's been in the. They couldn't do anything. He was kind of are quietly showing that they are maybe something to worry about. I think the Cowboys, how they respond next week is going to be huge. They also, CeeDee Lamb was kind of banged up this past week. They were, it's very interesting. The Cowboys are kind of doing, and I'm sorry, but they're kind of doing what they always do, right? It's like they make a case for themselves and then we start seeing them get all sloppy. So I think the next couple weeks are going to be really important to watch for the Cowboys, but again, then they also have to start watching out for, can one of these other teams start sneaking up if they keep losing? But I don't think that's very likely. I think their defense showed their flaws also this past weekend, which is a big part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And we were like praising the Cowboys defense because of how well they've come from last year into this year, and the draft afterwards, how they like just were like full in on their defense. So the Cowboys definitely, it surprised me, but also like you said, like this is kind of their MO. Like they end up doing this, and then you're like, are the Cowboys good or are the Cowboys bad? We really don't know.
Right.
In terms of the Bills,
and it shows the value that Dak has too. Like, because this past game was like, his completion rate was like 48.7%. I mean, that's not like Dak. So when he's off his game, it really throws off the entire chemistry of the entire team. If I was Dallas, what I would have done with that shin injury, I would have sat him. You sit him that week. You guys are already front runners. Like, I wouldn't have pushed him back. The Broncos had like 407, whatever it was, yards. It was kind of a disaster for them a little bit. So we'll see how they respond. But they definitely need to take a look at what the hell happened.
With having a backup quarterback like Cooper Rush, who apparently can win in primetime Sunday Night Football, why not give him an option just to like sit down for a game and put in Cooper Rush? Why not?
Right. And we're sitting here acting like we were like, I don't really care what the Cowboys do. I don't care if they want to do whatever. But again, I think they probably could have just taken it easy on Dak, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks. I love watching him play. Don't love the team he's on, but again, like give him a chance to like recover all the way. You guys are already winning that by a landslide at this point. And then this is where people start to get sloppy. This halfway through the season, you also see teams that play bad start to play very well. So this is the turning point in the season.
Definitely. And I think that we saw that with the Jacksonville Jaguars when they went up against the Buffalo Bills, who I don't think one person thought the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to win this game. And the Bills did not play well. I really don't think they do. I love rooting for the Bills. They're like my secondary AFC team that I love to root for. And I was just like, oh my God, like what in the world is going on here? And I really was just like, Jacksonville missed 2 kicks. I mean, their kicker is not good. He finally got a kick and they're like, wow, you did a kick in the United States. Congratulations. Like, how did this team beat the Buffalo Bills, who were like Super Bowl front runners?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of it comes down, I said this while the game was on, is you saw Josh Allen and the way that he played in the playoffs, and you saw panicky Josh Allen this past performance. He was intercepted twice, turned the ball over once, sacked 4 times. But again, the Bills were without their, 2 of their starting linemen. They didn't have the right tackle, didn't have the guard. So there's reasons for it, and I get that. But again, he did not play well. Griffin played fantastic, totally held Diggs down from being able to cause any form of damage. I mean, 6 catches for 85 yards, very unlike him. And also Beasley, 33 yards for 8 catches. So they were able to lock down these wide receivers. Then you have Moss go out with that concussion, and you're kind of, Josh isn't playing well. It was just a recipe for disaster at that point. It was a gross game. And I'm sure they'll respond from it. I would expect them to. I mean, they've looked awesome. But again, this is the weirdest year. Anyone can lose and anyone can win. It's unbelievable.
I know, it really is. And again, like Jacksonville has been one of these teams that between them not playing well, their coach basically out here just going to bars.
Doing his thing. Yeah.
Doing his thing, like whatever, it's your life, Urban. But I like genuinely was not expecting this. And the fact they didn't even score 1 touchdown, like the Jaguars secondary and their defense was really able to lock this down. And I completely agree with everything that you said. And the last upset was Sunday Night Football with the Rams, which I think a lot of people thought the Titans were going to be disastrous without Derrick Henry. And here they are. They dominated this Rams defense. What did you think went on with the Titans, even though they didn't have literally the star of their team?
I think the Titans got sick and tired of people making fun of their defense. Looked awesome. I mean, they looked so good. I think their pieces are coming together. I think they did a good job. Also, again, we're learning, right? Teams' ability, different teams' abilities to return from like a big injury, right? Like Saquon, CMC, Derrick Henry. How are they able to replace that person? What is the handcuff situation over there? And they have some great options. They were able to use those guys very effectively. Shout out Adrian Peterson, 36 years old, scoring a touchdown. I think the Titans are being smart, and they also have just really good options across the board over there. So the Rams looked bad. Stafford looked not good. I don't know what the situation was. I think the Rams got excited that we got Von Miller, blah, 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 blah. Like, you still need to go out there and ball out too. Like, the refs didn't help. I will say there were some questionable calls, but that happens all the time. If you are the front runner that everyone is saying, they should have played it better.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what I thought was when they got Von Miller last week with the trade deadline, and I was like, okay, now they have 3 draft picks next year. Like, they have to go to the Super Bowl at this point. Like, after that, like, it would be just completely, like, I feel like it would just be like a waste if like they don't even make it to the Super Bowl. Like, do you think that the Rams still have it in them, even though they just had this horrible loss against the Titans minus Derrick Henry?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they still have a very well-rounded team. They have played phenomenally well. Sean McVay is great. But they definitely, again, another team like Dallas that needs to come back and they need to respond from last week because it wasn't pretty. You could argue between them, the Bills and the Rams, like, those were disgusting performances from teams that have played very, very well this entire season. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do. But again, this is when things start to switch over here, and it's anyone's. I think we're going to end up having someone go to the Super Bowl that you would have never expected after the way things are going. I don't even know who. Like, I just think it's going to be someone random that sneaks in.
No, I would not be surprised by that. And I would love that, honestly. I would love to have a team that comes in that nobody was expecting and just shows up and does amazing things in the playoffs and makes it to the Super Bowl. And the Rams really did. Like, I was bored watching this game and I thought it was going to be one of the better Sunday night matchups. Like, I was sitting here like,
my boyfriend was snoring in my ear watching the game. I'm like, geez, this is bad. You guys put this kid to bed.
I know. And like, you would think, like, I mean, yes, Derrick Henry wasn't there, but I still thought it was going to be a little bit more of a back and forth. And the Rams just did not give that to us.
They did.
This next thing I've been very excited to talk to you about. We interacted a little bit on Twitter about it, and the Browns looked really great on Sunday against the Bengals. And it's very obvious that they perform better without Odell Beckham Jr., who is now in the process of going through the waivers and all of that kind of stuff. What is your whole, outlook on the OBJ thing? Because we know how he was with the Giants and what a drama queen he was. And I think that drama queen has, kind of moved over to the Browns, and I don't think he ever went away. So what is your, everything going on with the situation with Odell, and do you think he's going to get picked up by anybody?
Here's the thing with Odell. I will admit that actually, run it back a little bit. Odell needs someone to pass him the ball. That's all he wants. He wants targets, and he is not going to be happy. He's going to make a stink. He is a little bit of a diva. And it's not shocking, right? We're not surprised as Giants fans. We obviously won that trade at this point. He, even saying he wants to go to a contender team, I don't think he realizes that most contenders already have a wide receiver 1. They already have a wide receiver 2. So I don't know what the hot plan is there. But I wish him the best. I think, honestly, his chemistry just didn't work there. It wasn't happening. He hasn't even also played that much, which is probably part of it, but he just loves to add tension, and it's very obvious on the field that it affects the chemistry. To dwindle down the path of not being able to shut his mouth. And it's like you're jumping from team to team. You're exiting both teams nearly in the same exact way, like a very similar situation. So what's more important to you? Is it like, do you want to play football or do you not want to play football? Because something needs to give. It seems like he's interested in the Seahawks. It sounds like a stupid move the Seahawks would make. I love him to the Patriots. I think that would be a beautiful place for him, but I don't think it's very likely.
Right. Yeah, I think we both agreed on the Patriots for him would probably be the ideal landing spot. I think that he would thrive there. Belichick would put him in his place. And I heard somebody compare this whole situation to Randy Moss, and like, Randy Moss was very unhappy and he wanted to play, he wanted to win, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I honestly, with Odell, I do not like the idea of people are blaming Baker for this, because I've seen so many things pointing towards the fact that when Stefanski came into this team, like he spread the ball around and that's how they won the games. And when you spread the ball around, yeah, you win more games. And like Odell isn't going to get the ball as much. And it's just like, it seems like so stupid for him to be like, well, I haven't gotten the ball that much, but we've been winning. But also like, why haven't I got the ball that much? And you're just like, come on, buddy. Like,
okay, Golden Tate, calm down. Like, we get it. Like, you want the ball. And I understand. I'm sure that's very frustrating. I was listening to more football the other day, and I get it. Like, as a player, like, this is your profession. This is what you want. You want the ball. You want to get targets, like, especially as a wide receiver. Like, you eat off that. I even like Holiday, I can't imagine how he feels. It has to be very frustrating to not be getting targeted. So OBJ, I wish him the best. I hope he goes somewhere, but I feel like he's asking for another recipe for disaster here. Yeah. But we'll see. I hope he does well. I mean, he's still a great talent. I don't want to hear anyone say that he's not good. Eli made him. Like, enough with that. He was a great college ball player. He is a good football player. He's a great receiver. He just, he hasn't found his environment. Maybe he'll be like, I don't know. He needs like a resurface, like Tampa, maybe they'll take him in a couple years, like when Tom Brady's 75 years old and still playing in the league or something.
And he'll make him look good, and he would make him look good. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I want, you never want somebody to fail, but it's like at this point, you're like, you can't be choosing where you want to go or like be upset when someone picks you up. Yeah. Because at this point, like, you have to just be like, oh my God, now I'm on a team and I'm grateful that I have this opportunity. So yeah, I agree with you. And Odell, it's just, come on, buddy.
He's hilarious getting all of his buddies involved though. Like, I thought that was so funny. Like, you have LeBron tweeting, you have every cornerback in the league. I just watched. Shut up. You guys are all in a group chat. Like, you think I'm dumb? I'm a female. I know how group chats work. You're all in a group chat. Like, I thought that was it was just ridiculous. Like, for anyone to act like that day on the trade deadline, we're all of a sudden all tweeting about how OBJ doesn't get the ball. Give me a break with that.
The idea of thinking about Odell, like, texting this group chat with like 100 people and he's like, hey guys, can you like just make it a point to like say like, hey, I don't get the ball that much because like I want more in the field. And oh my God, that's
he probably sent them all like funny. A t-shirt for doing it or something.
The free OBJ t-shirts, he had those printed himself. Like
absolutely. No one's gonna convince me that Justin Jefferson went out and I promise he didn't. He was mailed that, to be clear.
Oh my God, that is so funny and so on brand. I love that. Okay. The next thing on the list here is going to be the Packers-Chiefs game, which was another snooze fest that should have been an amazing game. Jordan Love was out here, did not perform to the best of his abilities, I don't think. I mean, maybe he was a little nervous, your first career start in the NFL. It doesn't look very good for Jordan Love. The Chiefs also have looked horrendous. I mean, we saw them last week against the Giants and how we almost beat them. So what were your thoughts on this game overall? And, what is the future of the Packers looking like right now?
I think it's very important to note that the Chiefs played bad. Like, yes. I think that's getting overlooked by this Jordan Love thing. Like, the Chiefs did not play good, to be clear. Like, they did not look great. It's just that Jordan Love was not able to rise to the occasion. But Jordan Love is in a crappy situation. I mean, like, he could not be in a worse situation. There's a lot of pressure. And I think that Aaron Rodgers, good for him. I'm sure he's laughing in his room, like all happy that it did not go well with Aaron Rodgers there. Yeah, they probably win that game. Right. I think almost any team could have probably walked in there and beat the Chiefs that night. They did not play well. But I don't know. I'm saying, I'm a little sick of talking about Rodgers because it's like every year we have some kind of drama. He's going to be a Jeopardy host, this, that. Does he stay with the Packers? Does he go to the Steelers next year? I don't know. I don't think he wants to be there, but I think he has like a chokehold on the Packers, kind of. Like he gets to say what he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing too with this whole vaccine situation is like, yeah, he didn't tell the public that he was vaccinated, that he was immunized or whatever, and it's his life, whatever. But like the idea that the Packers knew that he wasn't vaccinated and they didn't care that he wasn't following the protocols is what's really just irking me a little bit. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I have loved Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, me too.
For as long as he's been in the league. And to hear this is a little upsetting because I'm like, come on, man. Like you could have just said, I don't want to get vaccinated. So many people in the league have said, I don't want to get vaccinated and have just owned it. Like, why keep it a secret? And it's just, he seems like he's like, I don't know what he's trying to prove. I don't know what he's trying to do and how he's just like, I can do whatever I want. Like, you're not bigger than the game. I know you're Aaron Rodgers, but that's what bothers me.
And he feels that way, right? I mean, didn't go to training camp, did whatever he wanted this summer. Like, he just doesn't really care. Doesn't talk to his family. Like, there are consistent trends. I love Aaron Rodgers. He's a great player. Adore watching him play. I respect his decision. If he does not want to get vaccinated, that's his thing. I think people calling him, he's getting a lot of hate for it. I think also it's a little much. I've made TikToks myself, but again, like it was his decision, but he should have been a little bit more, he could have been more upfront about it. I think we all saw his hair. He looks like he's going to Coachella next week. He didn't get vaccinated. You guys should have known that from the start. It was very obvious to me that he probably wasn't vaccinated. And again, this doesn't have to turn into a vaccine thing, but it's his choice again, at the end of the day. But Kirk Cousins, very open about it. Xavier McKinney, very open about it. It is their bodies, it is their choices. So, I just think it's a little irresponsible for Aaron to all of a sudden be like, oh, he was so upset that this came out in the public. Like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You made that decision.
Yeah, you could have just said, I am doing something else with my body. I am not getting vaccinated. And everyone would have been like, how dare you, for about a week. And now we're over it by this point. No one's talking about Cole Beasley's vaccine status anymore. It's at that point, nobody cares. So I just think that he really thinks he's just kind of bigger than everybody else.
And he's kind of been in this, he's entering this canceling era of you were kind of a menace all offseason. You were kind of a menace before the draft. You have kind of already been lingering for a while. And now people have a target on your back and they're ready to get rid of you at any chance that they get. Yeah.
But I definitely think they're not suspending him. He's going to come back and everyone's going to get over this within the next month. It's horrible to say it like that, but it's basically what's going to happen. The news is going to die out and everyone's just going to forget about it. And he's going to go on and win more games for the Packers. And that's just going to be the end of it. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to go. He's going to have to pay a fine. That's about it.
Yeah.
So
it's slapping their ass, whatever. It's
exactly. But the Chiefs, I think, very bad. Don't even know if they're making the playoffs this year. That's where I stand with that one.
They just don't look good. I mean, I don't know how. Again, everyone's they're fine. They're gonna sneak into it. Well, I sneak into what? I think that the Raiders could beat them, no problem. That's who they have next week. I don't see them. I don't think they're better than the Raiders. So, Kansas City is gonna have to win a couple games in a row for me to really feel like they're in that position. And again, I just don't know that I see that happening. I think that Mahomes fundamentally is somehow taking I don't want to use the word regression because he's still fantastic and that's not the point, but he's not having a good time this year because he's used to not being challenged. And this year he's being put up to a challenge. His O-line he's had it pretty good. So let's see what he's able to do. He just doesn't quite look like himself.
No, not even a little bit. Travis Kelce as well does not look like himself. I mean, he was barely able to catch the ball for the past 2 to 3 weeks. And I mean, Tyreek Hill is still kind of doing what he needs to do, but with Mahomes not on his game, he's not looking as good. So the whole situation is just a dumpster fire. And I'm in that division, I'm going with the Chargers. And that's not just because I love Justin Herbert. I genuinely think that the Chargers are going to be the team that comes out of that division. The Raiders just lost to us. So we'll see what happens when the Chargers play the Giants, but could be very interesting. But next on the list here, which is something that I was very excited about because I've been saying that the Cardinals have been good for about over a year now. Nobody believed me when I said that they were going to be good this year, and here they are being good without Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. I really was just blown away by their performance. What were your thoughts in this game versus the 49ers?
I mean, I have put more money on the Cardinals than I've ever put on a team. Before a season starts, I hit all their futures. It's funny because I got a little drag today. Someone tagged me on this post that was no one would have predicted that the Cardinals were going to be this good moving forward. Pull the receipts. There is no reason for this team to not be good. They showed that this past week. Colt McCoy, Giants legend.
Amazing.
He's the example of a perfect backup quarterback. He is someone that will come in and he gets the job done. Yes. I mean, he completed 22 out of 26 of his passes. What else was it? He was at almost 250 passing yards. I mean, the guy's good. He's able to be a backup quarterback. What happens is a lot in this league is backup quarterbacks get treated like quarterback ones, and that's not what they are. They're backup quarterbacks for this exact scenario. I mean, they did this without Kyler. They did it without Hopkins. Edmonds went out. They look good. If they're able to keep responding that way, there's a argument to be made that maybe the other team isn't quite as good as everyone was thinking. But I think the Cardinals had all of the things that they needed this year to be successful. So what they do moving forward, I haven't looked at their schedule and what that looks like, but they're in a good place and they're dominant. I mean, they say what you want about their offense being vanilla. It doesn't matter. Look at the score. Look at their record. Look at their standings. They're doing a good job.
And they probably would have been undefeated still if AJ Green turned around in the end zone in that Green Bay game. He 100% would have caught that pass. They would have won. Right. And they still would have been undefeated to this day. But yeah, the 49ers, not good.
Right.
49ers are not good. And I thought they were going to be a little bit more competitive this year, but even with Kittle back, and I know he was unlimited reps or whatever, but they are just not looking good. I don't know if they're weird with their quarterback situation or what's going on. Yeah. Jimmy G is just not, he just doesn't have it anymore. But in terms of this division, yes, the Rams are good and they got Von Miller, but I had the Cardinals coming out of this division before the season started, and I still stand by that.
Yeah, I stand by it too, and I will. I think Kyler is fantastic, and that's also with Hopkins not being that involved this year. I mean, you're seeing AJ Green look fantastic. You're seeing Christian Kirk play fantastic. You're seeing James Conner, who is one of my favorite players, play They have the pieces. Chandler Jones is a phenomenal player. And they don't look like they lost Watt. A little, sure, yeah, I get it. But they're able to recover. They can adapt to adversity. They just look good. They're a full-rounded, good football team.
Absolutely. Do you think JJ Watt is done? Or do you think he's got a little bit left in him?
I think he's done for this. It seems like he's done for this season. But maybe he comes back because, again, they're going to make a playoff run, obviously. So who knows? Maybe they end up getting him.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. But, yeah, I don't know. JJ Watt has gone through so much. He deserves to win. But, yeah. Exactly. But yeah, the Cardinals, I really like them. I love them as a team. I think they're great. James Conner, in terms of fantasy, I had him on my bench this week like a dunce. He put up 40 points.
Yeah, he's been doing great, and everyone's expecting him to not play well, and he keeps doing it. I mean, the dude balled out last 40 in one of my leagues, 40.3 points. I've been a huge James Conner truther. My concern is moving forward with him. You know, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He doesn't do well getting all the targets. He doesn't do well getting all that volume. Yeah, fine. But I worry that this won't be able to sustain, you know, what he's been doing in fantasy with Edmonds out. But hopefully Edmonds isn't too bad, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. And they'll definitely get some more reps, and we'll see if he's able to hold on to that. But that is basically a recap of the major things that happened in NFL Week 9. And before we finish up here, I just want to do a little preview into Week 10 for next week. So I asked you to pick 3 games that you were excited for and what you thought was going to happen. So I will let you take the floor and tell me what you think is going to go on with 3 games next week.
So I'm looking at it now. One game, a team that I am kind of keeping my eye on, especially with the Bills not winning this week, is New England. New England is being sneaky. If New England can go in and they can beat Cleveland, everyone better watch out, because this team is going to win that division, mark my words. I think that this is going to be a huge test for them. I think they've quietly played well. So I'm rooting for New England. It's fun to be able to do that now that Brady is not there. And now I have like this love for Brady and this love for New England, like separately, which is cool as a combo, not a fan of it. What else do we have here that looks good? Oh my God. Dallas. Atlanta is another team.
Oh my God. Atlanta.
Coming in. They have been quietly coming in and beating some bigger names. So Dallas needs to show up next week. They need to beat Atlanta. If they don't beat Atlanta, then we have to look at what's going on over there. And probably the last one is that Kansas City Vegas game we talked about earlier. You know, I don't care. I don't care that the Chiefs beat the Packers. You beat the Packers without Jordan Love. I don't care. Like that doesn't matter. You still played like shit. Like it doesn't matter, right? So they need to go in there and they need to beat the Raiders, and then maybe we can start taking them a little bit more seriously. But as of now, they have not proven to be a team that is making some kind of crazy Super Bowl run.
Agreed. And out of the 3 games I chose for myself, the Chiefs Raiders was my 3rd game here, because it was just, and plus divisional wise, it's very important for both of these teams. Like if the Raiders pull out this win, the Chiefs are no longer in the mix here for winning this game, because the Chargers beat them earlier this year, right? I'm pretty sure the Chargers have already beaten the Chiefs once. So I would say after this, the Chiefs are no longer in the mix here. The other 2 games I was very excited about was Bills Jets, because I read that Mike White is coming back, and I have loved this Mike White situation. I think it's great for the Jets, and I think that Zach Wilson better, figure out what he's going to do, because Mike White has been doing great things for the Jets. But the Bills, coming off of this loss, I mean, they 100% need to win this game, because otherwise, like you said, Patriots are going to catch up within this division, and it's going to get tight, which is not at all what we were expecting. But after this horrible loss to the Jaguars, I mean, we saw that week 1 with the Steelers, and after that, the Bills went on a streak of wins. So maybe that's what they needed to beat. It's crazy to say like they need to beat the Jets, because you're like, no, that's a shoo-in. But at this point, you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Especially with
I know.
The Jets.
There's some fun. There's a lot of really good matchups next week. They don't appear that way on paper, but if you actually think about them, look at the matchups. Like there's some serious, situations that could unfold and turn things a totally different direction for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And the other game that I was excited to watch was Rams 49ers, both of these teams coming off of a loss. It's another division game. And I think Von Miller will be playing next week. I know he didn't play last night, but I believe he'll be active by next week. But that is a few predictions for NFL Week 10. Stephie, I want to thank you so much for coming on and recapping this week of NFL with me. Why don't you plug whatever you would like to plug before we go?
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. Finally, we were able to do this again. You guys can find me on Twitter at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's. All my stuff is at Champions Around, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all this stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's where all my things are. Usually you can find me on Twitter, on my shows. Everything is with Champions Around now.
Absolutely. And definitely follow Stephie on TikTok. She puts out some great stuff. You make me laugh. I love it. But everybody, you can follow me at TGWTS Podcast on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Girl Who Talks Sports. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you all have a fun, fantastic sports-filled day, and we will see you all next week for NFL Week 10. Bye.
See ya.